Royal commentators and politicians criticized the period drama ahead its filming of Season 5 later this year. Earlier seasons have been scrutinized over the way certain members are portrayed, including Prince Charles and his father Philip, who died on April 9. The Prince of Wales' marriage to Princess Diana was a storyline in the last season, which depicted a lonely young princess pining after a cold husband who was more interested in his long-standing affair with Camilla Parker Bowles. Another subplot suggested the Duke of Edinburgh's behavior at school ultimately led to the death of his pregnant sister Cecile in a plane crash in 1937. The show showed Philip's sister planning to skip a wedding that required her to fly and only changed her plans after Philip got in trouble at school. It was also implied by the series that Philip was blamed for her death by his father, Prince Andrew of Greece and Denmark, although it is known he had nothing to do with her death in reality. During the funeral scene, his father is heard saying to a young Prince Philip, "You are the reason we are all here, burying my favorite child." Royal author Hugo Vickers said this was not true and that the late Prince Philip hated the show and was very, very upset by it. He told the Sunday Express, "He was very upset about that, I know that for a fact." Of course he would be about how his father was portrayed. Philip didn't see it, the show, but he was told about it. Netflix No, it's not true, because Philip actually traveled out to the funeral with his father. There was no punch-up, there was no half-term cancelled for him, his sister was always coming over anyway, it was nothing to do with him. It was the most horrible thing to happen in his life. Ms. Vickers added the show should be cancelled by Netflix. He said, "I think the whole thing should be cancelled, but it's not going to be. The whole thing's just going to go ahead. They couldn't care less. They're picking away at tragedy. They did the death of the Queen's equerry Major Hugh Lindsay. The widow on that occasion was pretty upset." Former cabinet member and Express columnist Ern Whitcomb also called for a disclaimer to be added to make it clear the show was not factual. She said, "I'm not surprised any member of the royal family is upset by it. I don't watch it because I don't like entertainment presented as fact, and I think that is what is being done here. I think there's a case for looking at the rules for having to put a disclaimer on that, saying this is not a factual, historical series. I urge everyone to give it a miss. Netflix only make money from it because you're watching it." Richard Fitzwilliam, a royal commentator and film critic, also agreed with a disclaimer as the show took outrageous liberties. He said, "The program does take outrageous liberties. The episode that deals with the tragic death of his sister Cecile, Prince Philip's sister, was absolutely, despicably distorted. In 1937, Cecile was killed in an air crash, and the Crown implies that because of his bad behavior at Gordonstoun School, when he was gated, it meant she couldn't spend the holiday with him, and then she took the flight, which proved fatal. The series implies Philip was blamed by his father for his sister's death." Following the release of the show's Season 4, Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden led calls for Netflix to be very clear with its portrayals of the royals. He previously said, "It's a beautifully produced work of fiction, so as with other TV productions, Netflix should be very clear at the beginning it is just that. Without this, I fear a generation of viewers who did not live through these events may mistake fiction for fact." Actress Helena Bonham Carter, who starred as Princess Margaret in the show, also supported the calls for Netflix to include a disclaimer. Speaking on The Crown, the official podcast, she said, "It is dramatized. I do feel very strongly, because I think we have a moral responsibility to say, hang on guys, it's not a drama doc, we are making a drama." So they are two different entities. Netflix did not make any official comment on the latest claims. But a senior production source said, "We don't comment on individual stories related to The Crown, especially a story from several seasons ago.